All right, let's move on to left backs. This might take a while. Like this episode might take a while. We got to hurry up. Actually, no, we're already halfway. We'll be halfway done by the time we're done here. It's not too bad. Um,
Well, this is an easy one, so just start us off with the obvious one.
yep. Kai Wagner is my first pick. Obviously, this dude has been the best left back in the league for the last 2 years. Statistically, not like super great. Third most interceptions, most clearances, most crosses blocked, but everything else is kind of bang average in terms of statistics. Um, third least times dispossessed and most crosses completed. But if you look at like that's just rankings wise, but if you look at the numbers, like the crosses completed stat, he's got 93 and the next closest I think is 27. Like it's like stupid how far
Wow.
like he deserves like an extra 4 rating just for that. Yeah, the dude if the dude stays around, he's a clear number 1. If not, you've got some decisions to make, but I'll take him at 1.
Yeah, I would argue the most obvious pick on this entire list is Kai Wagner at one for left back.
Alex
Two,
Mawil inverted. What?
two's a bit more interesting. But I'm gonna go with Diego Palacios here.
Yeah,
I
that's not too
think
bad.
LAFC had a strong season. I like what he provides in the attack. I was a bit unsure about his defense, but he had strong clean sheet numbers last year with 8 of them. So I'm happy to pick him here. He was the second highest rated player on my list. So I think he will, assuming he stays. I don't know if he has any rumors to leave, but assuming he stays, I would assume another strong season with a very strong LAFC team.
I think every LASC player has a rumor to leave based off of how good they were last year. Whether
Yeah.
they're legit or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll see what happens.
I'm gonna dip down on my list a little bit, about halfway down my list here, and pick somebody with high potential. And maybe because it's the last time I'll ever get to say his name on a podcast. Give me John Tolkien at 2.
Yeah. I figured that.
Um, the kid is probably gone before the season kicks off. However, um, fourth most tackles in the league, most interceptions, eighth most crosses blocked, third least amount of times dispossessed, sixth most crosses completed. I mean, he's all over the field, up and down the left hand side. Doesn't back down from anybody. Will go into a tackle with literally anybody. Big fan of his future. I think you will see him once Anthony Robinson starts kicking it down a bit. I believe he is the next guy up. Um, because I think Anthony Robbins got that thing locked down for the next 5-ish years. And then when he's done, it's John Tolkien's time.
Sleeping on Sam Vines and George Bello, my friend.
Who?
But to each their own. I am going to go with a guy that I think 2 seasons ago was arguably challenging Kai Wagner for best left back in the league. I think last season he took a slight step back, but I still think he's one of the best left backs in the league. Give me Claudio Bravo at 2
Yeah, I already
for
typed it in
Portland.
before you finished talking.
Yeah, I think it's an easy one. I think he's a fantastic defensive left back who probably, based on the numbers from last season, could do a little bit more in terms of the attack. But you know, it's a defensive position, so defensive job first, with anything in the attack being cherries on top. So he was he was strong last season, third highest rated player on my list. Very happy to take him at 2.
Yeah, very, very low on my list. Surprisingly, I thought he would have been a lot higher up. Um, Once again, leading the left back category in tackles, fifth most interceptions. You know, he's like you said, defensive masterclass, attacking is whatever. But for my third pick, I'm gonna take Dan Lovitz from Nashville. Um, Ninth most tackles, fifth best tackle success rate, second most clearances, eighth most crosses blocked, second least amount of times dispossessed, and second most completed crosses. He is the guy who has 27 to Kai Wagner's 940. So, again, another player who can do it on both sides of the ball. I think, he's got some U.S. men's national team experience, granted, way, way long ago. Um, just a solid guy. You can slide him in wherever you want, and he'll do you a good job. So, good to get him at 3.
Fair enough. My third pick, give me DeJuan Jones for
Mhm.
New England. I think surprisingly he had pretty low ratings from last season. Maybe that is, true and that he didn't have the strongest year, but I think he is a top quality left back in this league. And I think New England's going to be going into this year, kind of like you said before, with a strong defensive team. And I think, obviously he's got that left back spot down pat. He was strong defensively last year. He had 9 clean sheets. 6 goal contributions is pretty solid as well. So I will happily take him at third. I think he can probably do better than how he did last season. I think we've seen better seasons from him before.
Yeah, I agree. I like that pick there at 3. I think it's a good three pick. At 4, I'm gonna go with the boy. Give me Nuhu Tolo. Um, the Cameroonian left back who will pocket literally anybody who comes his way. Um, the least dribbled by outside back in the list, third best tackle success rate, fourth least amount of fouls, so he does it cleanly. Sixth most clearances, second best passing percentage as well. So again, good on the ball, great defender. Um, again, if he was American or if he was any other nationality other than Cameroon, he's gone by now. But like we spoke about earlier in an earlier episode last or a later episode last season, um, transfer is weird.
Yeah, can't blame that pick. Who's a very great player. I'm gonna go with a kind of outside the box one here. If he's on your list, I'm curious to know what he ranks in your statistics. So definitely let me know afterwards. Fourth pick, give me Andrew Brody
I
for
had a feeling you were
RSL.
going there.
Yeah,
Seventh out of 21.
overall.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I
I was
like that. He
surprised.
he was he was on my list.
A name that kind of I think fell under the window, probably fell under the radar. Sorry, probably because he's on RSL and pretty much everybody on RSL falls under the radar. But he had a very solid 6.95 rating. Surprisingly, second highest clean sheets in 9, and also second highest goal contributions in 7 out of the guys that I looked at. So, granted, he played the second most games out of everybody on the list that I looked at as well. So, do with that information what you will. But numbers looked really strong, honestly. I was surprised. I don't know what to expect for this upcoming season because I think RSL kind of overplayed what I think they were capable of last season. I can't wait for them to make me eat my words again, and they do it again this season. But um, I think that's probably why he's a little bit lower on my list at 4. But the numbers look good last year, so hard to keep him off my list.
Yeah. Um, I was about to take somebody who is not going to be in the league this year.
Nice. Who was that?
Jao Matinho. Uh,
Yeah, he's gone.
I forgot he transferred out. So that changes some things.
Yeah, you could say so.
Just give me 1 second here. Quick double check of the analyses here. The struggle of being a statistical nerd.
Yeah, we know you're a statistical nerd.
Oh wow, that actually made massive changes.
Oh boy, here we go.
Something went wrong there. Something had to have gone wrong there. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but something went wrong there. Um, give me Andrew Gutman out of Atlanta for 5. I have seen him play for my team. I've seen him play for your team. I've seen him play for Jason's former team. Um, this dude's an absolute baller, bar none. And I think he might have been Atlanta's best player last year, personally. I think he was just all over the place on a very bad Atlanta team, by the way, very injured and whatever. I don't know if he's going to have a killer year next year, because I don't think that they're doing a ton to reinforce what they're losing. That being said, I still think that he is at least a top 10 left back in this league. So getting him at number 9 overall, I've got no issues with that.
Yeah, that was probably going to be my pick. I guess since you went with Gutman, I will go with Raheem Edwards here. I think probably numbers wise, I would assume he probably doesn't look fantastic. I think he had 6 clean sheets, 691 rating, both of which are about middle of the table of what I'm looking at right now. 4 goal contributions was kind of low from what I was expecting, considering he was an attacking player, transitioned to a defender. I'm going to go off the fact that I think he's got maybe a strong season ahead of him with LA, but kind of just picking out of what's left on my list. I don't love Raheem Edwards here, but I'll take him at 5.
I fixed my list. And Raheem Edwards, yeah, definitely a bit low. Um, but he was who I was deciding between 5 at as well. So if you had first pick and you took Gutman, Raheem Edwards is going to be my pick.
That's
Um,
who I was debating between also.
yeah. So like I said, we watched him play for LA, and at one point we thought he was the best left back in the league. LA
Yeah.
obviously, of course, fell off. Um, but yeah, he provides something that other left backs just don't. In terms of the way that he gets forward, I think again relatively low for what we were expecting out of him. But I believe, yeah, he had the most successful dribbles out of any left back on the list here. I'm just trying to find the number for you. Yeah, 57, and the next closest was 29. So I mean, he got forward very well. It's defending side of it that didn't work well. He'd work great in a back 5, where he was more of a winger than a defender. Um, but I
Yeah,
don't
that
make
makes
those
sense.
decisions. That's not my job.